could do 50-50 on taking each other out, but it's like you said, you're not a handyman. I may be more of a handyman than you are, and I can hang a picture better than you can. You know what I'm saying? So you would not be. You may hand me a screw or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? You can't put. To me, you can't put a number on a relationship because, like you said, either 50, it could be 100, it could be anything, whatever it is. So I don't agree with the 50%. I believe in both of us doing our best to and equally go to make this relationship work.
Now, I know what happened. Like, I know some people got kicked out of here. I got a message. I just went back on. So I don't know if this is going to be an issue throughout. It's going to keep kicking me out. I don't know what the deal is, but we're going to try to keep rolling. And hopefully I don't get booted out because there was more people on here. But
where are they kicked out at? The Facebook or the phone?
The live. The live. I mean, we were still talking, but we got kicked out the live. Then I just had to click back on. So
you want me to say it again?
No, they keep rolling, whatever. Keep rolling. But yeah, you are right about that. And as far as that, there's gonna be some things that people could do better. But that's when you talk about it and you don't try to put your mate down because they may not have certain skills. That would be like, Sandra, if me and you was together and you didn't really cook that well, I wouldn't wait and get around company or my family. Our ass can't cook worth shit. I do most of the cooking or whatever the case. I'm going to try to build you up, and and make you feel worthy, or just not to minimize what you do. I mean, I think that's what you do. But then you have some people that's any opportunity they get when they get around a certain people, they want to throw shots. And I think that's where one of the reasons why it doesn't work, when you nitpicking and actually counting what you do better or how much more you do of it than your mate, then that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, there are scorekeepers in a relationship, and you don't. And there was a young lady who had made that point in one of the posts, and I don't recall her name, unfortunately. And she made that point. She said, you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that keeps score. And I'm inclined to agree. Because if I'm a better cook than you are, I'm not asking you to. I'm just not. Now, what I might suggest is that you come alongside with me while I cook and learn some things, so at a certain point in time, you can come up. Yeah, well, no. People think, when people hear the term cooking, they get scared. And I've experienced this before. Years ago, I had somebody that I was seeing at the time. I said, look, don't cook. She said, I can't. I said, well, learn. She said, well, I don't know what to do. I said, well, most items, aside from pasta, your grains, fruits and vegetables, they come with instructions. And if you can read, you can figure out how to mix and match. Now, this is where people get in.
But that ain't the same thing as cooking, knowing how to cook.
Well, no. And I'm going to lay that out for you. People get confused when they start reaching into their cupboards. They pull out seasonings and spices. They don't know what goes together. Either they watch too many cooking shows and they think they become proficient at this and they become proficient at that. What I tell people is take small samples of something, mix them together in water, and drink it. And if it doesn't taste good in that water, it's not going to taste good on food. There are certain things that go together.
But you know how to cook?
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I live alone. I'm a 5'11", 225-pound man. What does that tell you?
You can still eat microwave food and do all right with that.
I'm healthy.
And the question was, do you know how to cook?
I'm gonna let you figure it out. I'm gonna do paint by number.
Okay,
I have no
answer.
See, you can't interrogate the co-host. That don't work well. But I'm gonna help you out. If I'm telling you something, I can only be telling you from one or two avenues. Either I know or I have seen. I've been working in restaurants for 20 years.
Okay.
When I went to buffet, I cooked.
Okay, well then you teaching me something.
Oh, okay. But like I said, mix those ingredients together and taste them. And if they don't taste decent in the water, they're not going to taste good on food. Now, some things are going to stand out on other things. Like you wouldn't take chicken seasoning and put on a steak. A lot of people pan fry steaks. You don't do that. If you're not barbecuing a steak or cooking one on some type of grill, don't cook the steak. Chicken you can bake. Chicken you can fry. Chicken you can do just about anything with it, and you can't mess it up. Chicken is one of those hard to mess up dishes. It literally is. Unless you burn it or you don't cook it thoroughly enough and it has bone in it, it'll be done on the outside, pink in the middle. And this is why you go to a lot of restaurants and you see undercooked chicken. That's because somebody either didn't understand what they were doing, didn't use an internal thermometer, or they don't even be on the grill. They put them at a different station, put them at salads, put them at prep, or what? Just get them out of the chicken business because they don't know what they're doing.
I'm sorry, that's off topic.
Oh no, but cooking is really that in a nutshell. There's a lot of experiences. You're probably going to fail more often than you succeed. But what you want to do is go buy yourself some basic cooking books. Start out with learning basic things, and then build on that.
Well, I think the bigger issue maybe with some people is not even so much the cooking and maybe the finance part of that, that really is not going to be 50-50, and you may have to take one for the team. And I guess for some, are they able to take one for the team? Just imagine if you were someone that was making almost or six figures and you had a lifestyle that led you to be able to, go on trips. You can buy clothes or whatever little things you like to buy without a worry in the world. And then you got with someone and now, and say, for example, if they had children, and I'm just going to use it for example, if the man was making this much amount of money as being a man, and then you got with somebody and they had children, and that's going to be extra money that you have to fork out as far as clothes, food, food, and other little things like extracurricular activity stuff, sports and stuff. And now you're like, damn, shit, this don't permit me to do what I used to do. It doesn't seem like she's bringing anything to the table. Are you able to handle that? Because you know what you were getting into, unless someone lied about their income once y'all got together and you realize this shit ain't adding up. But I think that's one of the major things that also could happen too, is like the finances, if you talk about 50-50. And of course, I always got to give a personal testimony, because like my mother said, when her and my father was together, he made more money, but they would split stuff down in half. And I told this story before. And the issue was, once they split and paid everything in half, and whatever was left over, they kind of split that. He, of course, because he made more money, he used his half to, indulge in other things other than for the household. And her half went towards the kids. Who is that who just came in?
Anita Star.
Oh, Anita. What up, Anita? How you doing?
What up, how you doing?
All right.
Hey.
I'm going to give you a chance to talk because I know you love to talk. So her money, her money went towards her 4 kids and herself, and my father money went towards his lifestyle or his vices that he likes. So, which really isn't fair, but that's really not 50-50, but it depends on how you work it. Nita, so what's your take on all this? We talking.
Wait, okay, we're talking. I just chimed in. So you said she takes all her money and spends it on the 4 kids and the house?
No, we were talking about 50-50 relationships, and I was just giving them a example that my mother had told me when we were growing up. That was the game plan, that they would split everything in half, and then whatever was left, they split up. But my father, the half that he got went towards his himself, and her half went towards her and myself and my 3 siblings. So it really wasn't 50-50. So, but we were just talking about those 50-50 relationships work.
Oh, so that's the only question. Do they work? I'm going to say no. No. 50-50 relationships don't work. Because we're whole individuals. We whole. There's not a 50% of me. I'm 100%.
Exactly.
So if I'm giving up something, I'm only giving you 50%. You only getting half. What am I doing with the other half?
Exactly.
If you're going to have some of me, you're going to have all of me. I'm going to give you all of me. And I want all of you. I want all of it. You know I want the money. You know damn well I want the money, because you know how I get down. I want that money. But I'm willing to make sure I take care of that house, my man, everything. I'm going to give you 100%. So here's how I look at things, real talk. If a man only going to give you 50%, it's another half out there getting that other 50%. And if you're going to get 50% of my man, take him too, please. Take him with you. Take him.
See,
that's real talk.
And see, I don't look at it like, I don't look at it when you take 50-50, I don't look at it as just being 50%. I look at it as still someone maybe giving 100%, but it's just saying splitting it down in half. I mean, everybody have a different interpretation of how they take it, but I just look at it as we're both supposedly giving 100%, but we just splitting everything in half. And we know that sometimes that's not going to be true, because it's going to always be certain situations at certain times someone is doing more than the other person.
Well, first of all, in that respect, okay, 50-50, there's not a man. If you a man, you got to get more than 50%. You got to get more than 50% because you a man. A woman who has a man, she expects him to provide and protect. You gonna protect me 50%? You gonna love me 50%?
Okay, let me just give you a little bit of a warning. When you start throwing around real man this and real man that, you have to ask yourself. Hold on. When you start throwing those accusations and terms around, the reciprocal question comes by. Are you that woman that you're demanding he be that type of man?
Absolutely, because see, I'm coming 100% real. Listen, I'm coming with 100%. I'm not gonna have step with a man, because you want a man.
And if I must waste my time with him, he better be that man that I'm willing to give that 100% to.
I'm gonna give it all. And I'm gonna give 100. And if I got 101, he's gonna get it all. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna have step with it. I want a whole relationship. And anything that's 50-50 is not whole.
Let me. Okay, allow me to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. If I'm not going on the subject clear enough, let's break it down.
No, you are, and this is the perfect segue. Let me put it to you like this: I, as a man that's soon to be 48 next month, there are a few type of relationships and a few type of women that I refuse to date. One of those is the women with minor children, a woman who doesn't work, and a woman who throws those accusations out. When she throws those accusations out, to me, she's already conditioned to be looking for a few things before she even divulges her hand. I don't deal with those women at all. And I'll tell you why. Because they're demanding something that they haven't even shown that they can equally bring. I don't have children. So automatically that means I have to do something that I'm unaccustomed to doing. Not that I'm not willing, but that I'm unaccustomed. So why do I have to change my lifestyle to suit your needs? It's a need now. Don't be confused. Why should I have to change my lifestyle to suit your needs because you made some decisions in your prior years that have impacted your current condition? If I made the
wait. So you're trying to tell me if a woman, if you're with a woman that have children, you're gonna have her children from her prior years of experience against her because
No. It's not holding it against her. It's understanding that those are the choices she made, and I don't have to pitch my wagon up to pitch my horses up to her wagon.
But her.
You said she made choices because she has children?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, but because she has children, how do you know that she's not divorced?
That's not my concern.
But it's the children, he said the children. He should not have to what? Go ahead, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're correct. I should not have to change my lifestyle to suit your decisions you made in a prior life or prior in your life.
To have children.
Correct.
So Herb, let me get this correct. So it sounds like you saying if you with a woman with children, and she may say, well, Taekwon or Jerry or whatever his name is, they got this going on, and she may lean on you for support and help. And if it's something that you already had planned, and if that was going to kind of dig into your pockets for that, you're going to say, no, you're not going to be flexible, or, huh?
No. She's not even, I'll put it to you like this. Let me put this in terms of sports analogy. She don't even get invited to training camp.
She what? Oh, she don't.
She does not get invited to training camp.
What you commenting on it for?
No. I'm putting it in perspective because what the thought process that women have is that you have to take me and everything as I am. And that's not wrong. Inherently, it's not wrong. But it is.
You wouldn't be the man for me if I had kids.
Okay, yeah. Right.
If you came along and I had kids and you did not accept my kids, then you would not be a part of my life.
It's not the kid. It's the situation. I don't have a problem with the kids. Let me put it to you like this. If you were driving a car and you always got your car maintained, you kept up on the manufacturer specifications when to change oil, tires, and everything else, and I was driving the car and I didn't do all of that, how often would you be willing to pick me up when my car broke down?
Not too often, because you feel
And there you go, right there in the nutshell. Right there in the nutshell is your point.
Me maintaining my car has nothing to do with you.
It's an analogy. What I'm simply saying is I, as a man, had chosen not to have children. You have, and that's not wrong. I'm saying it's an option that men deserve that women don't like.
Can I have children?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to chime in. I'm just making sure. So you said these are certain kind of women you choose not to date. Then don't date them. Because if you a single man and you ain't got no kids, and you don't know none, you shouldn't be looking for no woman who got no kids.
No.
Listen, if I was a single woman, okay, and I had it going on and my shit was together, and I found a man, he was very nice, and I didn't want kids, and he has kids, I don't care how nice he is, I'm going to pass his ass by. Because
you're correct. You're correct, but the problem is when men make that decision, they're shamed for it. They're ridiculed, and they're told you're not even a man.
No. They're only shamed for it when they steal the putty. See, you know she had kids when you ran up in her house.
Said steal the putty.
You know it. You stole that putty, and you know it. So before you steal that putty and you know she got kids, don't go up in her house trying to hit that, because you know she got kids. No. And you know you don't want nothing to do with her, so don't steal that thing.
You're correct. there are men who sell women a bill of goods. I don't deny that. Derek Jackson talks about it all the time. And if you're unfamiliar with who Derek Jackson is, go to YouTube, type in Derek, DerrickXSAN, Derek Jackson. He talks about this all the time, and I don't have a problem with that. The question becomes, why are you as a woman leading with what's supposed to be your most prized possession? Feel that man out. And if he's only in it for a short time for sex, then you as a woman have to make that informed decision. Ask him from the jump. Do you just want to have sex, or do you want to take care of me and my children? Ask him that. Women won't do that because they're afraid of what the answer might be.
This is the difference between a girl and a woman, okay? When you a woman, you ask all the questions and you're not afraid of the answers. Because at that moment, you can take or leave his ass, okay? Because you're strong enough. You can take or leave him. Baby, what you looking for? You looking for a woman? You looking for a hit and run? Are you interested in women with children? You ask all those questions first. And if you not, you take your ass upstairs, let him hit it and quit it, and send his ass on his way. Bye.
You're correct. You're correct. But there's a lot of females who don't do that.
I want to interject though, but if I'm a single man and if I'm a single man with no children and I decide to deal with a woman with children, I got to take on the responsibility of the children if there's going to be a relationship.
Who is this? Who is this?
If there's going to be no relationship, I don't think I should take on the responsibility of the children.
Who's talking?
No, that's my friend. He's at my house too. This is a
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well,
So I don't know what point my guy is trying to make, but
No, you're correct. I'm not acting.
If a woman got children and I'm gonna deal with the woman, I gotta deal with the children too. So there's no need for me to be there. There's no need for me to be there.
Okay, that
Because
is
if
the
I had children
agreement.
and she didn't have any, I would want her to accept my children.
Exactly.
That's if the agreement has been made. More often than not, there hasn't been an agreement made. There's been an exception on the woman's behalf that because he's sleeping with her, he is automatically in a relationship with her, and that's what I'm pointing out. Is if that hasn't.
No, I don't believe that. Hold on. Hoes out here, they be making booty calls. Ain't no belief. Oh, I'm hitting. He having sex with me. He my man. He gonna take care of my kids.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm getting at. A
relationship when I'm involved with a female, if that's my postal address, everything that go on there, I'm responsible for.
Correct. Now, what happens if you both have separate living situations and you just go? Excuse me. If you're just coming over there,
I didn't quite catch that.
I said correct. Now, what happens if you both have different living addresses? You're just going over there for intimacy and nothing else.
If we both have different living arrangements, different lifestyles or whatever, and I'm taking on that responsibility, that's my postal address. My mail come to where her and her kids is at now. I'm responsible for them bills and them kids in that house.
but I guess he's saying if you don't live in the same house.
Yes, he's correct. I don't disagree with that.
That's no longer void. We got to make a decision. Either I'm giving up my spot or you giving up yours because we ain't gonna pay bills at both spots.
But you okay. Let me ask you this question: if a man and a woman, and I'm not going to make this this statement indicative or relevant to you or myself. If a man and a woman just choose to engage in sex and nothing else, what does that man owe her outside of being safe?
Nothing.
Okay, that's what I'm focusing on. Not what you're saying, because what you're saying is correct. If that man moves in with that woman or has that woman move in with her children and herself, he has accepted responsibility. This is why the courts, when a man decides to marry a woman who has children, he becomes automatically responsible for child support and anything else that comes along with that. Most people don't understand that. This is why men are hesitant. Hold on, let me write this down. This is why men are hesitant to deal with women who have children from a prior relationship, because there's a financial penalty that's only levied against the men, rarely against the woman.
Shit, that ain't true.
Look it up.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it's not totally up to me. but I'm going to. That's just something that you do, you know. I've been down that alley before. I've been down that alley before, and step dude was good to me. You dig? He was good to me because he dealt with my mom.
I just think like this. I just think like this. I mean, when you have communication as you get older, and if all of this stuff is put out there, which we know most of the time is not, then you won't run into these. You won't run into these problems. But I think a lot of times what happens, if a man is sleeping with the woman, sooner or later, even if he's living in separate households, sooner or later, there's going to be some financial expectations that come along the way. Something's going to be said. And it might start off as something small, but you know, sooner or later, it's going to add up to something bigger. Hey, like I'm short on my cable. Could you help me with this or with that? Now, and your defense, her.
You live in there, you got the bills. You got a light, a gas, or something. I don't care what it is.
No, if you live in there, that's a given. But if you're not, and y'all got separate households.
Excuse me. Can I interject for a minute?
Sure.
But now on the same token now. If y'all on the same page, if something go down with me, regardless, whether whatever, she's gonna help me too. And if she's not going to help me, I know she's not in my best interest, and I don't need to deal with her.
But you have a lot of that, and what people.
In household, we all the bills belong to both of us.
Right.
Okay, let me put it to you like this: what takes more money to live? A single individual with no dependents, or an individual with dependents?
Of course, an individual with dependents.
Okay, so in that regard, it's not going to be 50-50 because the individual with no dependents is going to be expected to contribute more. So what is that individual getting that makes that contribution worth it?
Excuse me, it's not an expectation. It's not.
But this is what people aren't understanding. For women, it is. It's not written. You're correct. It is a choice. But women don't view it as that. They say, take me as I am. I am a package deal. How often do we hear that?
Yeah, that's a common statement. That's a common statement.
Hold on, let me talk. Ain't no woman, if we're gonna be in a relationship, you talking if we're in a relationship, she is a package. Wait, hold on. She is a package deal. If you don't want the package, you ain't a part of the deal no more. Ain't nobody gonna deal with you. Okay, I got kids. Well, I don't like kids. I don't want to be bothered with kids. I don't get down with kids. Okay, bye. Because I got children. And you're not going to come before the kids. You're not going to come before the kids. And when you say, okay, I'm single, I don't want to deal with kids, well, let me tell you something. One day, you're going to get old. And you go, hold on. When your ass get old, you're going to wish you had some damn kids.
I'm going to say one more thing and I'm done, man, and I'm out. So now what you're saying to me is what I'm getting is that it's all right for you to eat a sirloin steak, but the kids gonna eat a wiener.
No, we all eating steak. If I eat steak,
hold on.
I asked my man because he said that he shouldn't have to give kids steak. So is that what you said?
Let me make this crystal clear. If they're not my kids, I don't give a damn about them.
Okay, well then.
You wouldn't be with me.
Well then. Disconnect, man. I'm out of here, man. I don't know nobody like you, man. That's selfish, man.
No. I earned the right to be selfish. This is my point. And that's what I'm talking about the written statement. People are making assumptions that a man that doesn't have kids has to take on somebody else's responsibility. I'm here to tell you, there's more men like me out there who are living it. No. I said at the top of this comment that there are select women that I do refuse to deal with.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's why I laid that out. I said that. I made that crystal clear. I said a woman who has dependent children who isn't working, whether they're divorced or not, if those children are too much of a burden for that woman, give those children to the husband. Because that's what child support and all that is designed for. But women don't want to do that.
Oh my!
I
Lord,
miss that. I miss that. What did Herb say?
Herb going in on y'all. Herb going deep on y'all.
Come back, come deep, because I know I'm gonna have to get deep with Herb ass. Come back to me, Herb. What you say?
I said I made this statement at the.
Girlfriend, don't
I said I made this statement at the top of this comment. I said there are certain women that I refuse to deal with. I said a woman who isn't working and a woman who has dependent children, whether they're from a previous marriage. Hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah, you got to let the man finish his point.
I wanted to hear what you said. You said there are women.
Let me
finish. You refuse to deal with.
Let me ask you this. Please allow me to speak. Please allow me to speak. Allow me to speak.
I wanted to understand. You said at the top of the show, you said there are women you refuse to deal with. Women who don't work and women who have children. Now, you say women you refuse to deal with. You refuse to have sex with those women with children as well.
Allow me to finish.
Yeah, Anita, let him get a chance to speak thoroughly, then he'll explain.
Those are women that I refuse to deal with. And I said, if women have a problem with financially securing those children, give those children to the husband. That's what child support and everything else is supposed to be for. So as a woman who has sole custody of her children, whether they're from just a regular casual relationship or a marriage, if she has a problem with that, that's her problem, not mine. I'm not taking on those responsibilities. And if by some chance I decide to get with a woman for just casual sex, and that's it, she knows from the moment that I meet her what my expectations are. It's all black and white with me. I don't play them games. I'm too old for it.
Okay, I think I heard you correctly. So you said if we in a relationship with casual sex, right? And that's the expectations. Well, Herb, that's what casual sex is. If I'm just having sex with somebody, okay, which I don't have casual sex, but if you're just having casual sex, there are no expectations but to hit it and quit it. And the same go for her. She hitting you and quitting you. She don't want shit from you but what you bringing down in the bedroom. She didn't ask you for your money. She not getting ready to ask you to run your pockets because she gave you some Gucci, okay? No, it don't work like that. And as far as the child support issue, you've been bamboozled and led astray because you don't know what child support is. If you think, oh, she's having hard times or she's having financial difficulties or she's doing this, women want the best for their children. See, you can go through financial difficulties just because you want the very best for your children sometimes, which is a mistake to me. Don't go get broke at Christmas and all that shit. I don't believe in that. I believe in maintaining a household and living my best life. But when you sit here and tell me as a man, if you can't handle the children, give them to the father because that's what child support is for, Herb, you don't need no damn kids because you're wrong, okay? That's not what child support is for. Child support is exactly what it says, to support your children. To support your children, meaning they got to go to college, they got to go to high school, they got to go to prom, they got to do all of that. And that's partly your responsibility because you had a child. It's not the mother's responsibility. Why I got to give you my baby because we had a child together and she want to go to the prom. Well, I spent $150 on a dress and the shoes. Now she need a damn car. She need to give her child up because she didn't have room for the rental car. And she done every damn thing else. That sounds stupid, don't it?
Let me break this down for you. How old is the average person that's going to prom?
17.
Oh, hold on.
I went to prom at 17. I graduated from high school at 17.
Okay, did you have a driver's license at 17?
I had a permit at 16.
Did you have a driver's license at 17?
No, I had a brother.
Okay. So that means she's going to need more than a car. She's going to need a limousine with a chauffeur, correct?
Not living with a chauffeur because your mama can chauffeur.
Okay, that's fine. Then the mother doesn't need a car.
If she don't have a car and your daughter want to go to prom, somebody got to rent a car. What you gonna do? Walk to the damn prom? Your children having the breast. Herb, did you?
No.
Did you walk? Or did you get a limo?
No, I walked. I'm gonna tell you about how I grew up. Okay, I grew up on the system, so I'm not even entertaining what you're putting go back to the antithesis of child support. Child support was not geared to send a child to college. That has been stuff that has been added on to what child support is. Just like in New York State, a father is responsible for a child up until the age of 25 if that child remains at home and goes to school. So y'all don't do the background on this. I'm just talking about stuff that comes up into you. No, I'm telling you the real. Anything I tell you, anything I say on these shows, you can go and verify. Believe me, I do my research.
What you just said? What?
I said the antithesis of child support was not to send a child to college because child support came into legislation in the 1970s where people were still doing blue-collar jobs.
Let me tell you something, Herb. Damn an act. A man knows he's got to support his child.
Let me chime in. Let me chime in. Let me chime in. Let me chime in on that. Let me chime in. I mean, and I guess it depends on the individual. Like for Maryland, the state of Maryland, as far as child support, it ends at 18. Once the kid graduates, that's it. The father doesn't have to pay any child support anymore. Now we know if the kid goes on to college, hopefully he will still contribute something. But if he's the type that says, "Oh, I'm done. I'm so done. I can't wait. Once you walk across that stage, it's over. And I don't have to put no more money in this woman's hand." And a lot of times that is because it'd be, a lot of bitterness or whatever the case is. But you would hope that if your child is in college, that you would still be helping her out with certain things, because we know as a college student, it's a lot of expenses and a lot of things that you may want to do that somebody have to help out.
Hold on, Marilyn. My son's 30 and my daughter's 29. My daughter makes $60,000 a year at 29. My son is 30. He makes 50. I'm giving that sucker $5,000 tomorrow to put on a damn car. They don't never stop asking because they're your damn kids, and we don't never stop giving because we love them. And one day our ass gonna get old, and somebody gonna need to feed my ass or wipe my ass. And her, you who don't like no kids, don't want no kids.
They don't like kids.
No. See? You're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. I never said I didn't like you. I said I don't have it, and I don't give a damn about this. It's not mine. That means financially. Because I'm in the mentoring program. It's not I care about kids. I'm just not supporting them financially if they're not mine. I don't have an obligation.
Listen, ladies, gentlemen.
With a woman who got kids and think you just gonna come and hit it and ain't dropping no cash.
No, let me chime in. Let me chime in. It sounds like Herb saying he already gives due process at the beginning. He doesn't even get into those relationships after finding out. So it'd be different if he got into it and he was sleeping with it and he knew the circumstances.
He might be commenting on if there is a child.
Let me make this clear once again. I can't make this any clearer than what I have already made it. And I stress, if a woman I encounter has kids, and we already know that I'm not going to be involved with the kids, I make it known beyond a shadow of doubt that
Sandra, let him finish.
If I am sexually attracted to her, I'm making it known from the moment I lay eyes on her, when I find out she has kids, that the only thing I want is what she has between her legs. There is no ambiguity. I am Aaron Roger Curry when it comes to that mode one. I'm letting her know, look, I just want to catch a feeling and I'm out. Okay, I can't make that any clearer. So if you're going to get on your feelings about you having kids and me not offering anything other than a respite after I get up, that's on you.
This is the smoke I wanted.
I am not a man who minces words. I put that out there. There is no female that I have dealt with that you can come across that will tell you different. Matter of fact, that's why a lot of women don't like me. Oh, he's a chauvinist, or he won't do this. You damn right, I don't have to. I'm a man of means. I can provide for myself. Why would I want to take on somebody else's responsibility when she can't handle her own responsibility?
That don't mean she can't handle it. You just can't.
Why do you always feel like women can't handle responsibility because they got kids? I always handle my damn responsibility, and my kids ain't
Okay, once again, we're talking about the individual. I'm talking about the demographic. So don't
let me say this to you. When you tell a woman, I'll just keep it real with you, Herb. If you tell a woman from the gate what you expect, she respects that. She does. Because real women going to respect that. Oh, I don't want to deal with this nigga right here. Let me pass his ass by. Let me know what's up. She has a choice. Because when you tell a woman, look, I'm not the package deal type, I don't do this, she has a choice. And she going to choose either to deal with you or not to deal with you.
I agree.
Over there entertaining that.
Somebody big mad in the background.
Hey, look, I tell people, I don't miss words. I say what I mean what I say. That's part of the reason why I branded myself the big bad wolf, because when people hear something like this from a man, they either consider him to be a chauvinist or he's old style, he won't do this, he won't do that. I don't do anything I don't have to, other than pay taxes. I don't like paying taxes, but I have no choice. They're going to come take my house. I have a nice home. Me and nobody else. And when I come home, guess what? It's quiet. I don't have to deal with runny noses, diapers. I don't have to deal with no misbehaving children. I don't have to deal with none of that. If I don't want to be bothered with the water, I go home and close my doors and it's quiet. So, as a matter of fact, now the only thing I hear running in this house is the refrigerator. I hear no woman's mouth about this or that. I like that. As a matter of fact, I could marry that. That's why I'm dealing with some of that type of women. So Herb, basically you're saying it's the younger kids. If it's a woman you're dealing with because you're getting older and they got older kids, you're fine with children. You're fine with that. It's the younger kids. Yeah. And we know that also women set parameters like that too. Like when it's a single guy and they're like, well, he got a 9-year-old. That they're still young. I don't want to deal with the baby mama stuff, especially if they got older kids that's out of the house. So it's a little give and take with both, to be honest. But women are never going to talk about that aspect because it doesn't put them in a good light. If you listen to the way that women argue and articulate their points, it's all about from them and what they can get. The vast majority aren't talking about what they can do for a man. Well, the first thing they ask is, what do you bring to the table? I have this, and this. Can you do that for me? It's rarely what I can do for a man, because more often than not, despite what women earn, like, I'm not sure who it was, who said that their daughter makes $60,000 a year and their son makes $50,000, and she's giving them $5,000 for a car. I'm thinking, if that man is making $50,000 a year, then why in the world does he need $5,000 for a car? Can he not manage his finances? Is he not financially stable? I don't earn that much. I earn a good living. If I want to buy a car, I don't need to go lean on my mother for $5,000. I write a check for finances. That's what a grown man does. And this is what this generation of kids that are being raised in this society are learning, that they don't ever have to go up and be adults and be responsible for themselves and their decisions. This is why the misnomer of the 50-50 doesn't work, because one person is only taking, and they never give. So how does that work when a man comes into a relationship, you have children, and he's only taking from you in your limited resources, whatever they are, because resources aren't unlimited. How is that going to make the woman feel? She's going to be resentful, and that resentment starts to turn to nagging. And this is where that term comes from, because a man has been given what the woman expects him to give, whether that's finances, around the housework, or assisting with the kids, whether it be picking them up from activities, taking them here, purchasing this. Believe me, I understand, I see it. I'm not against it. That's why I choose not to deal with specific women, so I don't have to encounter that. Most women don't want to hear that, because then it takes the dating pool that's already small for them, and it makes it even smaller. And as you age, if an older man such as myself wants to have kids, that means you really don't have a shot. That means he's generally dealing with women that are younger than 26. And if you're over the age of 26, that means you are out of the dating market. You got to go deal with some buster or some dusty ass dude. And Alan Roger Curry used the term that I think is appropriate. He called them Swiffers. He said they don't attract nothing but dusty dudes. That's the type of woman that a man, that's the type of man that a woman is going to attract. She's going to attract a man that can't do anything for her. So it brings me back to what I said earlier.
Sound like a Melvin.
Yeah, he's an adult kid. He's taking it because he's not in a situation to handle his own responsibilities. He can't give the woman anything. And she has every right to be upset. But she should be upset with herself for putting herself in that position. And I've said this once before, and I'll say it often. Women don't want to be accountable for the decisions that they made, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. We hear these women talking about, I'm earning this, I have this degree, but what she doesn't tell you on the back end is all the questions, student loans that comes with that.
Let me just say this. Again, sometimes you may not like what someone says, but everybody entitled to feel what they feel. So as you know, ladies, as you got upset and you're like, you didn't agree with what Herbert was saying, that man's entitled to feel that way. He's entitled. And he says if he's telling you that up front, you got to respect it. You got to respect it. And maybe that's not for you. And you'll find, you'll deal with someone who may, I don't want to say fall into it, but they're okay with that position. But if that's his stance and he told you, and again, he gave you due process ahead of time, you already know. You already know. Now, if you decide to give him some work after that, that's on you. That's on you. But when little Timmy need winter boots and a coat and a scarf, and he said, no, that shit ain't in my budget, that's on you. Who do you have to blame?
The budget and he wouldn't even know it.
What'd you say?
I said it'll be in the budget and he wouldn't even know it.
But I don't have to because I'm not making that any concern of mine. And I think this is where women don't quite grasp the concept of me not caring. I don't have to because I don't have a moral responsibility to take care of somebody else's children. It reminds me of a part in the movie Fences, where Denzel and his son, they're estranged in a manner of speaking, where they're standing outside, Denzel is sitting on the stoop and someone wants to go by. He says, let me by. He says, let you by. He said, this is my house. I take care of you not because I want to. He said, I take care of you because I have to. And I think this is what women don't quite grasp because the children come from them. And it's understanding they have a different bond to the child than a man does. A man has to develop a bond with a child. Women, you're already born with that bond. The child has been in utero for 40 weeks. So your bond has already been established. A man has to develop a bond with the child in order for him to take on that responsibility. Women want that bond immediately. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. We're wired differently for a reason. If women were wired the same way that men were, children would not survive and the human race would not continue.
Hey, Herb.
And I think...
go ahead, finish your point. I just want to tell you, Marcia, somebody else came in. Marcia came in, so I wanted to give her a chance, and we're going to get ready to close it out. And I love the energy tonight. I love the energy, folks. Marcia, go ahead. Get your point off.
Okay, this is Marcy. As far as the man prefers not to date women with children, I'm cool with that because for me, when I meet a guy and I'm dating him, I don't expect, he may meet my son, but I do not expect him to take the full responsibilities of what he would need or anything like that. And you just find too many women who, I hate to feel this way, use their children as a pawn to trap these guys. And then when the guy decides he doesn't want to be bothered, then all of a sudden she's into her feelings. But, you know, when you're two consenting adults and you're getting to know one another, that's why I wouldn't advise any women to bring their children into the picture right away, because you don't even know where the relation's going to go.
Good point.
I concur, which is what I've been saying. Women behave with a duplicitous nature, and they don't want it exposed. I'm here to pull a cover. I'm here to pull a cover, the blanket, the sheet, all the things off so we can see the bare mattress. You don't like it? That's too tough.
Mm. Well. Listen.
And you know, that's my take on it. And I mean, and you know, it's unfortunate because these women who are into these little games or whatever, they make it hard for the good woman out there who's seeking a real relationship.
Correct.
Huh?
So
I said you are correct.
So as I always say, we're screwed. We're screwed because it not everybody. You just got to find that connection with that person and y'all on the same level. But that always happens from communication, talking, being able to put everything out there and express what you actually looking for, or some things, some non-negotiables that you just not willing to accept. And I think sometimes people think, well, the power of sex may change the whole equation, but not necessarily. It might change it for that moment of gratification, but then once you get home or reflect on it, you're like, damn, no, this is really not, I really don't want to go there. This is really what I'm not looking for. And then, you know, you're always going to run into obstacles. We went over our time, and I'm going to give y'all your last chance to give y'all closing remarks. But I definitely like the energy. I just know that we have to learn to let somebody, if you're going to ask somebody a question, you got to let them finish it. You got to let them finish it. And I think everything could be more productive. But these are the conversations that we definitely have to have and get out there. Because as you can see, there's a big difference on the way genders, and it ain't even genders, because we had another guy with Anita that, you know, he came from a different vantage point than Herbert, but this is how it is. So I think some people think that, okay, my family, or this is the way I was brought up, that is bond, like that's the only way to live, but really other people think opposite. So that's why sometimes you have to listen and be in cue with other people say, and know, like, your way is not the only way. All right, so Sandra, what's your closing remarks on this 50-50 relationship topic?
My closing remarks is that I don't believe that you can have a relationship as a 50-50, because on any given day or any given situation, it can be one more that have more percentage than the other. So if we're looking at it as a 50-50, we're not going to be having a
successful
long-term relationship, because we got expectations on a person.
Okay. Marcia, are you still with us?
Yes.
What's your closing?
My thing with the 50-50 relationship, that if you're married, I don't think it even should be a 50-50. You just collectively pay your bills, and that's all because you're a team. So I don't think married people would, matured married people would look at it as 50-50. They would do what they have to do and pull their resources and take care of their bills in their household and their kids.
All right. Herb?
That's all.
Herb, you still on here?
Yes, I am.
What's your closing remarks?
People, get in where you fit in. I am a proponent of full disclosure. This is why I quote Alan Roger Curry in Mode 1 book. Go to on YouTube. Look him up. And like I said, look up Derek Jackson. Be honest and forthright with what your expectations are. And once you have, more important, stick to them. Do not move the goalposts in the middle of the game. That's dishonest and deceitful. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that's dishonest and deceitful. So just close what you want, stick to it.
All right. And my closing remarks is, as you can see, 50-50 people interpret and take things differently, or they have different expectations on things. Overall, if it works for you and you and that person is congruent to whatever, and y'all, it's not causing any mental strain, then you roll with it. I'm not looking at percentage points or whatever the case is, or constantly tallying anything. Because again, like I said, it's all about interdependence. You're building on each other's strengths and weaknesses. Some people are stronger in certain areas than others. So, and you have to expect that. That is not going to always be 50-50. Some weeks it might be 70-30. Some weeks it might be 60-40. And you just got to roll with it. And with that said, I don't know who's listening to the phone and got a computer going, but it's picking up feedback. But I'm about to get ready to close it out. We went over time, but I really, really loved the conversation. I love the energy, and hopefully next week we can pick it back up again and still talk about these conversations, because this is the only way things will probably get done, or we'll get a better understanding is different formats. It's a shame that we have to go to the world of social media, and like we talked about weeks ago, what Herbert said, that us getting together and having good, wholesome conversations, and I'm not talking about at a bar or a club with loud music, but just amongst people, those days have kind of, it's like dinosaur days, but these conversations need to be had. They need to be had. We're in desperate times right now, and I don't think people really focus on that, but that's the real. So with that said, thank you all for joining tonight. I know some of you got kicked out and you probably never came back in, but stay tuned for the watch party, and just know that we're going to try to do this every week and get it going with these type of conversations. And thank you everybody for called in. Sandra, Anita, I don't know the guy who was in the background. Thank you for his feedback. Herbert, who co-hosts with me in the Counselor's Corner. Thank you, and share the video. Share the video as much as that kill y'all. Share the video, and again, no Friday foolishness. Yeah, no Friday foolishness. Pick up your copy, because it's about self-reflection and journaling. And let's keep this train moving. Like I say, I'm out, and everybody have a productive week and be good. Or I always say be good, be great. All right. All right now. I'm out.